Hello and good morning. Welcome to the channel. My name is Yannick. I'm the French guy from Switzerland. And this morning, it's Sunday morning. You can see down here, it's been recorded live on Twitch on Sunday, the 23rd of January. This morning, I am going to try and configure Appwrite.io, this thing, which is a secure open source backend server for web, mobile, and Flutter developers. So that's the part I'm interested in. So why this thing? I am using currently Google's Firebase services for authentication and the real-time database. I don't really use the real-time part of that. I just use it as a database. And I saw this has also a database. Sorry. So we're going to try and use it. Oh, there's a dark theme. Nice. So we're going to try and see how that works. So I have just installed that. I haven't done a lot just yet. Let's go to my folder. Where is it? And save Appwrite, and there we are. And the only thing I have is the DockerCompose file, which I actually have in VS Code. And the only thing I did, just to try and run this, I did change the ports because it was trying to run on... Oops, what did I do? I messed up something. Where's my VS Code gone? I've done something. What? I don't know, but I have done something. Where's all my my stuff gone? What did I do? Come on, terminal. Where? Oh, oh. Where's that? Where's that terminal? What's going on over here? Hold on a sec. Stay with me. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Here we go. I made a mistake somewhere. I don't know where, but I will figure that out. Maybe I won't figure it out. I don't know. What did I break? This terminal is now broken. Okay. It's nice. This is not a good start of a stream when all of a sudden your screen is not working anymore. Let me see. Yeah, I can see on the screen on the monitor. This is VS Code, right? Or is it? Oh, I have a problem with my Windows. What if I bring another one in view? Well, yeah. So, what did I do? Oh. Okay, so I'm going to close this thing. Right, there we go. Now we have this. Okay, I'm going to close that too. Right, now we're back to where we were. Okay, I'm gonna need a new VS Code because for some reason it disappeared. And now it's back, it's here, and it's good. And I'm gonna need, no, I don't want you to be full screen. And I'm gonna need another terminal for some reasons. There we go. Okay, So as I was saying, I have this DockerCompose file, and I did change the ports here because it was trying to run on port 80, and I already have an Nginx running on that port. So I did change that, and I also changed the SSL port. Sorry, not that we're going to use that anyway. And so I did run that. And so am I in the Docker group? Yes, I am. So let's go now to not that project, and that's not here. I want to go. It's here, and let's run DockerCompose up. I think that's enough. Yes, and then it's going to run all the containers and all that good stuff. And I'm not running that with the -d option because I want to be able to Control-C to kill it. Although I can do that with DockerCompose down, I think. I'm not an expert in containers, so I think that's... So it should be up and running now. And let's see. So if we go to localhost 6780. Right, so I have started that already, and I have created an account, and that is all I did. I just checked that it was working. So to recap, I downloaded the DockerCompose file, changed the port numbers, and then started it. And that's it. And when you arrive on this console, the first thing it asks you is to create the root account. And that's what I did. And that's where we are. So let's go and see what do we have. What do we have here? Let's get back to the light theme for a while. Okay, Appwrite for Flutter. That's what we are interested in. See how that works. Create your first Appwrite project. Go to your new Appwrite console, and once inside, click the plus icon in the top navigation header or on the Create Project button. Add your Flutter platform. Android, iOS, Linux. So we're going to try and do a Android app just to test things. Get Appwrite Flutter SDK. Okay. Right, we're going to do that. Right. Let's try. Create your first Appwrite project. So in the console, there's a Create Project button. Project ID auto-generated. Yes. Project name. How can we call our project? Let's call that app test. Appwrite test. Okay. Create this project. Turn my phone off. Okay. All right. No platform. What did they say? Add your Flutter platform to init your SDK and start interacting with Appwrite services. You need to add a new Flutter platform to your project. To add a new platform, go to your Appwrite console, choose the project you created in the in the step before, and click the Add Platform button. From the options, choose to add a new Flutter platform and add your app credentials. Flutter SDK currently supports building apps for Android, iOS, and that's okay. If you are building your Flutter application for multiple devices, you have to follow this process for each different OS. Okay, so that's the same as Google. So I'm going to add a Flutter app name. Oh, so the other thing was the project. So if we call that Appwrite test Android. Bundle ID, what's that? You can find your bundle identifier in the general tab of your app's primary target in Xcode. Yes, but that's because I want an Android thing. So, Appwrite test Android. Your package name is generated, your application is your app level build crowd. Let's create a new project then. let's create that inside this folder, because why not? Terminal, new terminal. Flutter create -- help. I don't remember how to change the bundle ID. Can we actually change the bundle ID at creation time? I don't think we can do that. This org, the organization in reverse domain notation. The project name, this must be valid Dart package name. Okay, so that would be what? Dash dash project name. Dash dash project name. Dash dash org. Dash dot French guy. Dash dash project name. Appwrite test. Let's see if that does something. Nope, it doesn't like that. No option was for the output directory. Yes, okay. Appwrite test. So clear that. Okay, and now if we go to that and then Android and then build Gradle, that's what they said I was. In your app level build.gradle file. App level build.gradle file. So where did it put the... oh yeah, so that worked. Okay, so that's my bundle name. Actually, I used to change that by hand on previous projects, so I did learn something today. Alright, so I have created this thing. Right? For Android, first add your app name and package name. Your package name is generate the application ID in your app level build Gradle file. By registering your new app platform, you are allowing your app to communicate with the Appwrite API in order to capture the Appwrite OAuth callback URL. The following activity needs to be added inside the application tag alongside the existing activity tags in your Android manifest XML. Right, where's Android manifest XML? Then, where is Android manifest XML? I have no clue where that is. Be sure to represent. Okay, where is that file? Find that type f that name Android it manifest XML. It's in SSCMan. Right, so we need to add this activity. Copy that alongside other activities. Oh, there's only one, so yes, it was activity. Right, so we have another activity now. I'm going to indent that properly. All right, and remember to change your project ID string with your actual Appwrite project ID. You can find your Appwrite project ID in your project settings screen in your Appwrite console. Settings, and that's the project ID, I guess. Oh, that's the project ID. Okay, so let's replace project ID with the actual project ID. Okay, how does it know that I want to... well, I guess it's later on, right? When I want to connect to local hosts. Right, let's get back to the documentation. iOS, we're going to ignore that for now. Linux, macOS, web, we're going to ignore all that. Windows, we're going to ignore that forever. And get Appwrite Flutter SDK. Add Appwrite SDK to your package pubspec.yaml. Okay. So, where are we here? We're in Appwrite. We're going to go into Appwrite test. We're going to do Flutter Add pub add Appwrite. Okay, it's gonna do its magic. Hopefully. Right, let's see something, because I have a Flutter app in a folder. I don't know if that even works. So let's get the lib main.dart and press F5 and see if that works. It's going to build a Linux app. That's not what I want. Don't build a Linux app, but instead of that, run a Pixel 2 API 30. Let's bring that inside the virtual screen so you guys can see it. And now we're going to start our application on the phone, on the false phone. And that should give us the very powerful counter app. It's gonna run. Hopefully, it's not gonna do what it did last week, or no, the last Thursday, where I spent 15 minutes trying to make the app run and ended up having to reboot my PC. We'll see. Running Gradle task assemble debug. That's good. Come on, you can do that, right? I just rebooted half an hour ago, so you can do it. You can build this app and you can run it. It's the first build. It's never been built before, so taking a few minutes to do that. I should have done that earlier, but I forgot that it was gonna take a little bit of time. I see activity on my disk. Yeah, the LED that's connected to the disks. I see debug traces in the console, so that's a good sign. I hope. I still see activity in the disk, so it means does something, right? Come on. Oh. Right, so while it does that... Oh, there we go. Oh. The project requires a new version of Kotlin Gradle plugin. Find a... What? What do you mean? Module was compiled with an incompatible version of Kotlin. The binary version of its metadata is 151, expected version 1.1.15. Whew! That is not good, is it? Flutter upgrade? Is there a new version? Something I missed? Nope. So what? I just created a project and it doesn't even want to run. Okay, Flutter clean. Flutter run. Let's see how it does running from the command line. This is gonna be a problem. This might be a case of I have to stop the stream and have a look at what's going on. Your project requires a newer version of Kotlin Gradle plugin. Okay. Okay, Flutter. Your projects require the Kotlin Gradle plugin. I'm not the first one Let's go to the accepted solution. You can find package dependence on Google App Engine by running Flutter package pubdebs on the root of the project. This will list all the direct and transitive. I couldn't find a way to display the plugin dependency as a package. The problem is you are running version 3.1 of the Android Gradle, which enforces Kotlin 1.3.0 or above. At the same time, the geolocator package... Oh, so the Appwrite thing might... Is that the Appwrite thing? So that's gonna be a problem if this Appwrite SDK isn't compatible with the latest versions of Flutter. Then we're screwed. So let's see that. That's gonna be a short stream then. Let's go to pubspec.yaml and remove Appwrite. Okay, and now it's gonna get. I do a Flutter pub get again, and then let's clean again and run again. If that doesn't run, if that runs, then it means the Appwrite SDK is not compatible with the latest version of Flutter, and that will be the end of the stream. So let's see. The suspense is unbearable. I can feel the tension in the air. Will it work? Will it not work? It did build and it does run. So that's that. Okay, so now that's working, and so we have the counter app. Okay. Okay, let's just have a look at that error message once more and see if there is something we can do or not. So let's clean and let's run. It's gonna crash, and let's see. So we are running SDK 2.15 and 3. All right, okay. So what does that thing say? It says I was trying to do stuff. Module was compiled with an incompatible version of Kotlin. The binary version of its metadata is 151. Expected version is 1.1.15. Yeah, so I guess the Appwrite module was compiled with Kotlin 1.1.15, and now we are running 1.5 something. Ah, well, I guess it's the end of this stream then. Find the latest version on Kotlin, then update Android build Gradle, Kotlin version. Can we try and downgrade Kotlin? Just to see if we can run this this sample. Although I wouldn't do that in a real app, but let's see. In Android build Gradle, and Kotlin. Ah, so I'm using 1.3.50. I'm confused now because I use 1.3.50. It says it needs 1.1.15 and 1.5.1 and expected version 1.1.15. So is Appwrite using 1.5.1 or is it using 1.1.15? That's confusing, isn't it? Your project requires a newer version of Kotlin Gradle plugin. Find the latest version on, then update build Gradle. Okay, let's do that. Let's find the latest version of the plugin. So the latest Kotlin seems to be 1.6.10. Okay, so let's do 1.5.1 here. 1.5.1. And see what that does. Please note that I have no idea what I am doing. It didn't run. It didn't work. Or did it? The problem occurred while configuring the project. Could not find Kotlin Gradle plugin. Oh, so what we're looking for is the Kotlin Gradle plugin, not Kotlin itself. Okay. Back to Gradle plugin version. Apply the Kotlin Gradle plugin by using the Gradle plugin DSL. The Kotlin Gradle plugin and the Kotlin multi-platform plugin 1.6.10 require Gradle 6.1 or later. I am confused now. Okay, so let's try 1.5. 1.5.1 doesn't exist. Okay, let's try 1.6.10. 1.6.10. Will that help? Let's run that. Huh. There is no error. Maybe this is something acceptable. Maybe it's acceptable for a production app. Let's see if it will actually run the Appwrite thing. So far, so good. Let's cross our fingers and see if that works. It's still building. Still building. It's a good sign. Right? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. So I didn't know we could change the Gradle plugin, the Kotlin plugin used to create the Android app. That's interesting. Ah. It did something. And the app is running. Okay. So we have an Android app running with the Appwrite dependency in pubspec YAML. Right? Yes, we do. Okay. So we're back in business. Actually, it was not that Appwrite was built with a older version of the Kotlin plugin, but with a newer version of the Kotlin plugin. So good. Let's continue. So there we go. I did that. Init your SDK. Oopsie. Come on. Yes. Web Flutter. Get out. Init your SDK. Initialize your SDK code with your project ID, which can be found in your project settings page. Okay. Client, that. Right. Before starting to send any API calls to your new Appwrite instance, make sure your Android or iOS emulators has network access to the Appwrite server hostname and IP address. That's still okay. When trying to connect to Appwrite from an emulator or a mobile device, localhost is the hostname for the device or emulator and not your local Appwrite instance. What? You should replace localhost with your private IP as the Appwrite endpoint hostname. What? You can also use a service like ngrok to proxy the Appwrite API. Okay. When trying to connect to Appwrite from an emulator or a mobile device, localhost is the hostname for the device and not your localhost. Yes. You should replace localhost with your private IP. Sorry. Okay. I think I understand that. So, where should that go? I don't really know where that should go. But let's say it's going to go in the main function. Somewhere in main. Why not? I don't know. Let's try and let's see. The client, actually I'm going to do final client equals client. And that is Appwrite. Okay, we have that client. Client set endpoint. Endpoint, not endpoint real time. Okay, it needs a URL, so that's gonna be http:// and let's find out. Let's create a new terminal. So which one is the IP for? Well, I guess that's my usual. Is it, or is it this one? I have no idea. QEMU BR0. That could be this one. Could be this one. /v1. I think that's what they said in here. Yes. Okay, so that's set project, and our project ID is in the settings here. Let's have that. Set self signs, that is true. We don't really need that because we're not using HTTPS. So now what's wrong with that? The method setEndpoint isn't defined for type client. Okay. It's there. So, oh, set endpoint and not set endpoint. Okay. Wow. Okay. Make your first request. Once your SDK object is set, access any of the Appwrite services and choose any request to send. Full documentation for any service method, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Register a user. So let's try and register a user. Right, just for fun. Just for fun. So we're going to do that, but we're going to do that in a different way. Let's get back to our terminal here. I'm using Flutter run from the terminal, so I'm going to kill that. And I'm going to run that from VS Code and see what happens. So we'll see if it connects actually, because we're gonna have a client here. We're gonna change that pretty soon. We're gonna make that a provider, and then we're gonna have a button, and the button is going to read the client from the context. So we can use that in an elevated button, on-click callback. Null check operator used on null value. Right, that is not what I expected. No, it's not. So where are we? We are probably not initializing the stuff at the right place. So we're going to do that. And we're going to go maybe somewhere in... Where's run app? Okay, so run app is running my app, and my app is building that. So we can do that from somewhere here, I believe. Let's do that here, right? And reload. See what happens. What happens is that the application has restarted, apparently. Okay. So we're going to go to the terminal. Hey, Dust, how are you? Welcome to the stream. We are experimenting. Flutter add container. Provider. Container. No, provider. I want my provider. Right. And now I'm going to run. Not bad, thanks. How I am better. I was sick 3 weeks ago, and I suspect I had COVID. I just didn't have that many symptoms, so I didn't go to the doc very straight from the beginning. But then I went to see the doctor, and he said, "Well, you may have a bronchitis," so he gave me stuff, and then that didn't, cure it. And so I went back, and he said, "Oh, you may have COVID," and then I had a test, and the test says, "No, you don't have COVID." But I think I had it, and now, well, anyway, I'm good now. So, all right, I want to create a provider, so that's gonna be I'm going to return a multiple provider, right? Why can't I multiple provider something? Okay, let's import package provider. Come on. It's not the first time it does that. It doesn't I had a package and it doesn't find it unless I do some crazy cleanup and restart stuff. So I don't know why. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. That's entirely possible. So let's clean that, right? And then rerun the app if it's rebuilding stuff. It did rebuild the app, but it didn't rebuild the app actually. In reality, it didn't. So what's going on here? If I save that and I F5 that once again, it says there are problems. Yeah, I know. Duh. Flutter pub get. That might help. That did help. And so does it see the provider package now? Yes, now it does see the provider package, right? And so in my app, I'm going to return a multiple provider. No. The provider it knows about provider. That's okay. That's all I need right now. Create is. Come on. You can do that. Okay. So I'm going to return client. Right, and I have a builder. Text context the child. That's going to return that. And I think it's missing something like that. There we go. All right. So that's still running. It should. It should be running. Come on. And then once we've done that, we're going to go to our application here, and we're going to add a new button. We are going to add a new button. Yes, somewhere in here. We're going to add an elevated button, right? Unpressed, it's going to do that thing. And now it's going to click me. Click me. Because click me is something you should have in every application. Every app should have a button called click me, or labeled click me. Right. And now we're going to do context.read client dot not dot. We're going to do var client equals that. We're gonna make that a final. And then we're going to try and create a client and see if that works. So user await, oh, so that needs to be async. Await account.create. What is account? Account was that. That's account. And it's, no, okay. Yeah, my bad. Final account equals account client. Okay, and that response equals response user equals await account create. Unique ID, email me at appwrite.io, password, name my name. All right, and that cannot be a const. Is that what it says? A value of user cannot be assigned to a variable of type response of dynamic. Wait, what? Create is returning a future user. And that's a response. So I'm guessing the tutorial is not... is not up to date, maybe. Final user. Okay, let's print user and set a breakpoint. Actually, we're gonna set a breakpoint here and see how that works. Let's click. Okay, the client is now client.io, jar endpoint. Okay, and web service. Okay. What's account now? Account is an account. It has a client ID. There's a client. There's nothing yet to tell us that it didn't work. Now there is. 4 not found. Not found. Okay. Huh. Problems, no, that's okay. What did it say? Appwrite exception, HTML not found. Right, so it says not found. Okay. It says not found. What if I change in main just to see if I'm completely wrong or not? I'm going to change the IP here. This IP doesn't exist on my private network. So we'll execute up until there and see what it does when there's a fake IP. When there's a fake IP, it also says not found. Huh. I don't like that. It should have said like connection refused or unknown host or something. Oh, but no. It needs a complete restart because it was in main. So let's see. Once again, running the app. This thing is... I think there's potential for Appwrite as a replacement for simple apps and small apps that don't require, you know, the Google infrastructure to access Firebase. And it's self-hosted, so if you're concerned about privacy, then it could be a good solution. Now I need to just figure out how to make it work. Right, that's much better. It's taking time. I think it's going to go as a timeout. So that means that IP address I used might be the correct one. So let's see. If I go there and go to Appwrite, and oh, I did change the port number. That's maybe why. Okay, so that could be the reason. Port is 6780 and not 0, and not 80. So let's go and change that. So that's gonna be 10, and that's gonna be port 6780. Meanwhile, our app still hasn't crashed, I think. So let's stop it. Okay, I don't want to stop in yeah, actually I do want to stop in uncaught exception at the moment. So let's try that with the correct port number and see if that's gonna work. Hopefully it's gonna work. If it doesn't, then maybe I don't have the correct IP address, which we will be able to check maybe by stopping the Android emulator and have a look at our list of IPs on this machine. There are a lot of bridges because of snaps and QEMUs and stuff like that. Alright, so let's click me. Okay, and so our client is pointing to port 678. Right, okay, let's do that. Oh! Holy crap! We didn't have an error. So maybe we have a user. That user has an ID and an email. And right, so that seemed to work. Where can I find a said user? It's here. Okay, so it did work. Right. I connected my Flutter app to my Appwrite backend on my PC. Okay, that is good. So we can create users like that. So I guess users can register with username, password, and stuff like that. That's good. So let's keep looking at that. Listen to changes. If you want to listen to changes in real time from Appwrite, you can subscribe to a variety of channels and receive updates within milliseconds. Oh, so it can probably be used as a replacement for the Firebase real-time database. Full documentation for real-time can be found here. Final real-time equals real-time client, description, and then subscription stream, listen, response, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that looks great. Full example. Next step: Appwrite has many services and tools. Okay, I'm interested in the database tool, so let's have a look at that. Database. There we go. Database API, and I want the Flutter SDK, and I want the client. The database service. Blah blah blah. I don't really want the blah blah. I want the code part of the thing. All right. The client equals client. Database equals database. Client set endpoint, set project. Okay. Future results. Database create document. That's what I want. Right. So let's do that. When I click, because here I have database. I have no collections in here. So let's see. Go back to code, and here instead of creating a client, instead of creating a user, sorry, we're going to create a database or a document, or I don't know yet what it's going to create, but let's use that database. Right, we've got that database, then that's already set up, so that's okay. We don't need anything else. Instead of future results equals that, we're going to create final results equals await. And then we need a collection ID and a document ID. Okay. Let's say I don't have a collection yet and I want to create one. So let's say it's going to be called my collection. And let's say the document is going to be my document 1. And we're going to put some stuff in there. Thank you, GitHub. We're going to put John Doe, age 25. Okay, what else? Results, then print response, catch error, print error. Okay, so we're going to do a try. Oh, so that's the thing. We're going to try that. Whoa. And then catch error, print error. There we go. We don't need results after all. So just await, create document, and then if we have an error, we just print the error. We're actually gonna set a breakpoint here in case of an error. And now we're going to click here and we have an error. What's the error? Missing scope. Ah, my user might not have access to that database. Role guests. Role guests, yes, I'm not authenticated. I am not authenticated. But we did create a user earlier, right? Didn't we? Yes, we did. Let's go and edit that. Danger zone. I don't want a danger zone. Session activity. How do I set permissions? Block, no. View as user, no. Update password, no. Update email, no. Update name, no. No user preference found. Okay. Documentation. Account. Create an account. That's what I did earlier. Create account session. Allow the user to log in into their account by providing a valid email and password combination. This route will create a new session for the user. So that might be a little more complex than what I imagined. Create magic URL. I'm gonna have to have a look at all that. Well, create an anonymous session. There we go. That's what I would like. Use this endpoint to allow a new user to register an anonymous account in your project. This route will also create a new session for the user. To allow a new user to convert an anonymous account to a normal account, you need to update its email and password. Okay, so how do I do that? Yes, but that doesn't mean account sessions, account logs, get session by ID, update account name, update account password, update account email, update account preference, delete account. What do I say? Maybe there's no such thing as access rights, things like that. Create anonymous session. So I need to do this. I'm going to call the account service. Sorry about that. That's okay. And now I'm going to await for account create anonymous session. Okay, await account create anonymous session. Okay, and then database, and then I'm going to create this thing. And something went wrong, kind of crashed, I think. So let's rerun the app. It didn't like what I did with the code. So let's rerun the app. And in the meantime, exclamation mark drop in the chat and try and get the high score. Good luck, everybody. The app has been built. Let's see. And now if I click that, what does it say? Collection not found. Ah, that's much better. So there's no such, apparently there's no such thing as rights, you know. If you're logged in, then you have access. Which could be a little bit too much, but I'm going to have a look at the security things. But collection not found. I was kind of expecting that. So I'm thinking there might be a thing like create collection. No, there isn't. Or if there is, no, it's not defined. Okay. So what's database? It's a database. And what does database pass? Let's create document. Get document, update document, delete document, but nothing about collections. So we need to create the collections by hand, I think. Let's go to the database. How did we call the collection? Something like my collection. Yes, my collection. So let's go and add a collection here. And it's going to be my... Oh! That's collection ID, not collection name. Which is this thing here. Oh, that's... Okay. Well, that makes the code a little bit more obfuscated, I guess. So now we have this collection. Okay. And there are no documents in this collection. Let's click on that again and cannot create an anonymous user when logged in. Okay, because I'm already logged in. Okay. That's not where I should create this session. I understand that. So why? Let's do that. Let's remove that from here. and put that somewhere where we're not going to go. Okay. Now we restart the app. And that should be better. Nope. Cannot create an anonymous user when logged in. Okay. Yeah, we need to stop the app and restart the whole thing. What are you? What are you? Please reload this. No, I don't want to reload Visual Studio. No, I don't want to restart Visual Studio. I want you to do F5 and run my app. I probably pressed on the wrong key and it did something very weird. Go update available. Yeah, I will have a look at that later. We're not making anything with Go today, so. All right. We should now create our user when we start the app, but no, it doesn't. We cannot create an anonymous user when logged in. Okay. I don't know what your problem is, but I'm going to say bye-bye. Bye-bye to that code. And maybe it keeps the... Oh, it keeps me logged in. Even though the app stopped. Oh, that's interesting. So just log in once and then automatically logs me back in. Think I like that. So far, this could be a valid replacement for Firebase, for my need at least. What's the problem? Unknown attribute name. Okay, so it didn't want... That is weird. Let's go back to the documentation, which we should have read. I guess, before we did anything. Web docs database. Create your collections. Appwrite uses collection as containers for document item collection. Blah 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 blah. You can create your collection by adding it to your Appwrite project dashboard. Access to the no. You can manage your collections programmatically using one of Appwrite's server SDK. Ah, we need a server SDK and not a client SDK. You can manage document with both the server and client SDK. That's the thing. All right, okay. Once you create your collection, you will reach your collections setting page where you can choose the permission model for your collection. There we go. See, I should have read the documentation before. Choose the permission model for that collection. Hey, Gak. Welcome. Drop. We are having a look at Appwrite as a potential replacement for Firebase for storing documents. So I was able to create a user. So let's go quickly back and do a quick recap. So to run Appwrite, all I did is get the DockerCompose.yaml file from their website. And sorry. And I changed the ports here because it was trying to run on port 80 and 443, which are already taken by Nginx on this machine. So I did change that, and that's the only thing I did. And then I started this thing with DockerCompose up. I think it was the command. and everything started and worked. And then I accessed the console here, localhost 6780, and it asked me to create my root access. So that's the user I'm logged in with here. And then I installed the Flutter SDK. So in pubspec, I did add Appwrite. I also added provider, but that's not required. I did Appwrite here. In my main.dart, I created in the app, I created a client. I set the endpoint to this IP address, which is the IP address the QEMU instance for the emulator gave me. So that's not localhost, because localhost would be the phone, as they rightfully so describe in the documentation. So that's the IP address of my PC as seen from the emulator. And that's a project ID that we can find in our project here. How do I go to my project ID? There we go. So that's the project ID we can get from the Appwrite console. And with that, the first example was to create a user so that we can see that it did work. I'm not actually using that user. I'm using an anonymous user right now, but so we can have user register. Yes, it does look interesting. I think it doesn't seem to be as strict for permissions as Firebase is, but again, if you set one instance of Appwrite per app that you have, then you know it's only the data for that app. But you can have multiple projects too, so you can do multi-hosting. And so yeah, I'm using now the anonymous user, which seems to be the same thing as the Firebase anonymous user, which means you just register and it stays, it sticks with the app. Even when you stop and restart the app, it's still the same anonymous user, right? But it's there, it's connected. So what I did also in my main is I created a provider and I provide the client that I created here, because I don't want to recreate that thing every time. And then sorry, I'm still a bit sick from last time. I created a new button, and when we press on that button, we are trying to create a document. And so that's the collection ID. So that's one difference from the Flutter real-time database, is that you have to create your collections first, apparently. So if I go to database here, I got my collection. And so I did create a collection. It gave me a collection ID, which is the one I used here. And now I was trying to add a document with a name and age, but it complains that it doesn't know what name is or age is. So let's try that again and see. If I click on that, it's gonna say, it's gonna tell me unknown attribute name. Okay, so I was having a look at the documentation on how to do that. Permissions. Choose the permissions model for this collection. Document level. With document level permission, you have granular access control for every document. Users will only be able to access documents for which they have explicit permissions. In this permission level, documents permission take precedence and collection permission are ignored. Okay, so let's say I want a collection level. I want anyone to be able to create documents in that collection and read that thing. With collection level permission, you are assigned permissions only once in the collection. In this permission level, permissions assigned to collection text the precedence and documents permission are ignored. Read access. User ID, team ID, or role. So add role all forward. So there are role. I didn't find where we can set the roles yet, but so let's say everyone can read and write document in that collection. And here are our attributes. So let's add a new string attribute, and that's gonna be name. Go back in here. Name. Oh, attribute ID. Followed character AZ, AZ09, and non-leading underscore hyphens and dots. Okay, so name. Not required, not an array, no default value. Create. So that's another difference from the Firebase real-time database, in that in Firebase you can store whatever you want. You don't have to define the attributes. And that's gonna be age. Oh, that is the equivalent to Firebase validation thingies, I think. Where in Firebase you can say, okay, incoming data should be of type that and should be between that and that. So I think that's the equivalent here. But with the exception that you can't put whatever attributes you want. Okay, so no default value, no require nothing. All right, and if I go back to my application, my app, then I should have a new document in my database. Nope, I don't. Huh. Why is that? Let's click on that button again. All right. Ah, there's an error. What's the error? Document already exists. Does? Well, ah, do I have to refresh the page then? Ah, that's crap. But okay. So why is that document? Oh, because the ID. Yes, my document 1. Okay. So it did store the document. Great. Okay. So here you need to model the collections first like a database. Yes, apparently so. You need to first create all your collections, get the IDs for those collections, and use the IDs to store the documents. But you also need to model the document. So it looks to me more like a relational database than a real NoSQL database, right? Because as I said, if we go here and say, okay, my document 2 now has a country USA, and now if I try to create that document, it's going to crash. It's going to complain that it doesn't know what. Oh, it did not. But it didn't create the... Oh, is it my breakpoint? Is my breakpoint not working? I think my breakpoint is not working, but there we go. We have the error message. Unknown attribute. Okay, let's see. Do we have... Oh, we have indexes. That's a plus compared to sorry, compared to Firebase, because I can have a key name ask add. No, I don't want to add an attribute. So if that is the name key, or let's call that PK, then create. So now it's indexed, and now if I select by name, it's probably gonna work faster. Activity, usage, settings. So that collection is enabled. Okay. So just from the get-go like that, I don't see a way to say, okay, accept any attributes. So this is kind of a mix between an SQL database where you have to design the tables and the columns. So the collections will be the tables and the attributes will be the columns, with indexes and validation. So you can say stuff like age is between, 18 and 99, something like that. And I don't know if let's change the permission here, right, and update that, and let's create a new document. Let's create document 2. Let's say it's Alice, and Alice is 27. Why not? Okay, so let's click in here and go back to the documents. Refresh that. So we have a document. My document 2, name Alice, age 27. And oh, there we go. So because that user created that document, now it's only readable and writable by that user. Right, that I like. That means if the collection is set to document permission, I can read and write what I create, well, what the user creates, and that is automatic. I don't have to do anything. Then, if I create a collection, if I want to share stuff between users, I would have to create a collection of which has the collection access thingy. You can also pass a read and write arrays of permissions when creating. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, so you went further than me. Create attributes. Okay. Let's see. We have a link here. Database API. Okay. Create document. Read and write an array of strings with read permissions. By default, only the current user is granted with read permissions and get a full list of available permissions. Okay. An array of strings write permission by default. Yeah, okay. Okay, so right, so if I'm thinking about my expense sharing thing. So if we had the user ID of the other participant, then we could create a document and say, I create this document and I give myself and that other user read and write permission. That is good. That is really interesting. Because I suspect in a user-based permission collection, that this document 1, right, as this user ID. Okay. If I go back to my collection and I add a document myself. I say Bob. Bob is 35. And what's my user ID? I have no clue. So let's say this role user ID 123. 123. Okay. I'm going to create this document. Invalid permission roles must contain Oh, so that's user 1, 2, 3. So that's user 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, why not? And user 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay. So if we go back to the collection, we've got this document, and this document. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to go in the app and I'm going to request a list of documents in my collection, and hopefully it's only going to return the documents that I have access to. And if it does that, then it's awesome. So list document, that returns a document list. So final documents equals, and let's do something stupid like print documents, which probably is not gonna give us any information. It's gonna give us an instance of something, unless there's a toString function, which is why we're going to set a breakpoint here, and we're going to click on our button once again. What do we have in documents? It's a document list. There are 2 documents. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Okay, so no need to have the document stored in a key that contains the user ID. Same, the thing we would do in Firebase, because Firebase doesn't really allows you to filter documents in collections, right? So you have to have a documents, then UID, and then all your documents below that, and then set permissions to that path. But here you could have a collection of documents and request all the documents, and it will return only the documents you have access to. Oh, that is really interesting. I like that. I like that. And I like the anonymous authentication too, because it identifies that app on that phone, and even when you restart the app, if you stop and restart the app, it's still logged in. Now let's see something. Let's completely stop the app, completely shut down the emulator, start a new Pixel 2 API cold boot, and then rerun the app and see if we're still logged in. This Appwrite, oh, I had to do something for Appwrite to work properly, and I'm just going to show that. Is it not hiding the emulator? Oh, because it's still starting. I hope it's not taking too many resources. Too much. Oh, you don't see the emulator because it's on the wrong screen. So anyway. So what I had to do, I had to go to the Android app build Gradle, and I had not build Gradle. Where was that thing? Where was that thing? Oh, thank you, emulator. It was in Android build Gradle. Yes, the Android build Gradle. In here, I had to change the version of the Kotlin plugin, because Appwrite uses a newer plugin than the one that is shipped with Flutter when you create a new project. So I had to change that. At first, I thought it was an older version of the plugin, and I was not very happy. But no, it's a newer version, so that's good. We can use a newer version of the Kotlin plugin. So that's what I had to change, right? That's all it was pretty straightforward to install, really. Using the DockerCompose file. Yes, to drop. We deserve drops. Is that emulator once again on the wrong screen? No, it's... Oh, it's still building. Okay. Ooh, oh no, you missed it. Now I'm gonna miss it too. Yeah, so I'm very impressed so far by Appwrite. So if I click here, I'm still authenticated. That is great. And I still have my 2 documents. Okay. So rebooting the phone and restarting the app and so on, it kept the anonymous session I had created before. Now, the only thing I don't know, but I'm gonna have a look at the documentation off stream is to actually, figure out if I'm already logged in or not. Because when you create an anonymous session, it says you cannot create an anonymous session when you're already logged in. So obviously, there's a way to tell am I logged in or not. And then we can choose between anonymous session or email password stuff or OAuth stuff. So I like that. I like the possibility to be anonymously logged in. I think I'm gonna use that. I can actually use that with my expense app. I'm probably not gonna do that. I'll keep the Firebase database for this one. But next time I have an app to write and that it needs to store data on an external service, I will have a look at Appwrite because I am very happy with it. Yeah. Let's see, what else do we have in Appwrite? We have storage. We could store files. Okay. That's nice. We could store PDF and some stuff like that, or images maybe. Oh, that could be helpful for user uploaded profile pictures. Yeah. That could be useful. Because so far, when I upload in my other app, in the daycare app, I can upload a logo for the invoices, and I store that on the app's storage. But I could use something like that to store that outside of the app. And so if the app is, if the person changes phone, and provided that we have a login and a password and something like that, and we can get the images back. That's interesting. So we have database, database we've seen, storage, it's pretty straightforward, it's files, users. So we've seen that we can register users from the app, or I'm thinking we can add user. Yeah, we can add user from here, right? So that's unverified because we didn't go through the process of sending an email and stuff like that. Okay. And then we have functions. What are functions? What are functions? Functions. The function service allows you to create custom behavior that can be triggered by any supported Appwrite system events or by a predefined schedule. Oh. Trigger a function execution, the return object will return you the current execution status. You can ping the get execution endpoint, get updates on the current execution status. So if I had a function here, oh, so that's okay. Let's say I want to run a PHP 7.4. PHP test. Overview PHP. No tag found. You haven't deployed any tags for your function yet. Okay. Oh, callbacks. And crowns. And variables. Ah, so we can react. We can react to application events. And execute a function. I just don't see deploy tag. Command PHP. Oh, so we would okay, so we need to point that to the function. Okay, let's delete this function and create a new, maybe a Node.js function. Node test. Yeah, that. And then deploy tag. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so so it would execute that function anytime, either periodically or on event. Interesting. Do some automation or stuff like that. So that opens up a whole lot of possibilities. Also, it opens up a whole lot of potential privacy problems, but this is why we are looking at this open source self-hosted backend server, so we can make sure we're not storing or getting any more information than what we need for the application run. And so basically what I need in most of my cases is an anonymous user ID. So I don't even know who that person is. I don't even have an email address or something. Okay, so functions, right? And let's go back to the documentation. So we can get the user location, get the current user location based on IP. Yeah. We don't want that, do we? We don't want to spy on our users. Avatars. Well, avatars can be fun. That's nice. Health. The health service is designed to allow you to both validate and monitor that your Appwrite server instance and all of its internal components are up and responsive. Yeah. I had a feeling it was not the health of our users. Okay. So now we've got the guides, advanced pagination, custom domain, permissions, or code. All right. So I think I'm going to stop this stream now because it's almost 1 p.m. and I need to get some food if I want to survive. But I am very impressed by the quality of Appwrite. And my main usage will be the database, I think, and users in database, and anonymous users most of the time. So yeah. I like that. It's really easy to install and configure. And it works fine. It does work very well. Now, this is really fast also, maybe because it's on my local machine. I know the Firebase API responds in milliseconds. This might not, depending on where it's hosted and the kind of machine that is used to host that. But the fact that it runs in a container and could be installed just by grabbing the DockerCompose file. I like that. It's cool. It's cool. Well, check it out then. I'll bring back the link to Appwrite. It's sorry. It's appwrite.io. And yeah, they have a Discord. I might join the Discord actually. It's a secure open source backend server for web, mobile, and Flutter developers. So looks great. I am actually very impressed by what I've seen so far, and I'm going to implement that on future apps, no doubt. So that's gonna be it for today, for today's stream. I'm not used to streaming during daylight, and I can see that the background is very bright, and I am very dark. I feel like a vampire getting out for the first time, you know. Yeah. So Appwrite.io, check it out. I might stream again this afternoon, but don't hold your breath on that. I will be back Tuesday on the Ubuntu on Air channel with Andrea Riggi, and we're going. Well, I'm going to be on the back seat while he does some Linux kernel programming. Let's check that out. Let me shout out to Ubuntu on Air. There we go. And I will be back Thursday with more Flutter thing. Probably expense for two. I wanted to stream about my daycare application because I'm getting ready to ship an early bird version. But then I realized, because I'm so close to the end, now I'm working with real data, so real child names, addresses, and phone numbers. And nope, no way I'm going to show that on stream. So that's gonna have to wait for the post-release when I maybe showcase the app. But no more dev stream for Nanny Plus because of real data being used. Test things. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much, Gak, for joining. Thank you, Dust, for joining too. Also, thank you to Gemini for following while I was offline. And as you can see here, I have a new widget that tells you when this was recorded live on Twitch. If you want to join me while I do those recordings, twitch.tv/FrenchGuyCH. I don't have my own Discord channel as a server just yet. I might create one, because all the cool kids have a Discord channel these days, so a Discord server, so why not? Anyway, thank you very much. I will now go get some food, and how about we raid someone? Let me see if we have someone to raid. Do we? We could raid someone. Although I don't have anyone that is connected right now. So let's not do a raid, and let's go and get some food. Thank you very much. See you in the next stream. Bye bye.